Do you know someone who has tried everything to feel better, but still wakes up every morning under that heavy gray blanket of emptiness? Someone who scrolls through social media, watching others live while they are just surviving? Someone who has memorized the phrase, "it gets better," but stopped believing it? They are not broken, they are not weak, and they are not the first person to feel this way. According to the World Health Organization, over 280 million people worldwide struggle with depression, and traditional treatment methods work for only about 60% of patients. That means 4 out of 10 people who seek help through conventional therapy and medication are still searching for relief. Perhaps someone you know is one of them. Or perhaps you are exploring options for yourself. But here is what most people do not know. In Japan, there's a practice called Naikan, which translates to looking inside or introspection, and it has been quietly transforming the way people understand and overcome depression for over 70 years. This is not meditation. This is not positive thinking. This is a structured psychological method that restructures how the brain processes gratitude, guilt, and self-worth at the neurological level. The ancient Japanese understood something that modern neuroscience is only now confirming. Depression is not just about what someone is thinking, it is about what they are noticing. And Naikan is the deliberate practice of redirecting attention in a way that rewires the neural pathways responsible for mood regulation. Let me ask you this. When was the last time someone you know genuinely noticed what others have done for them rather than focusing on what they have lost or what they lack? Or when did you last do this yourself? Drop your answer in the comments, because this single shift in awareness is where healing begins. What makes Naikan so powerful is that it does not ask people to fight their depression. It does not ask them to think positively or fake gratitude. Instead, it asks 3 simple questions that scientists are now discovering activate the same brain regions that antidepressants target, but without the side effects. I am Dr. Hannah, a relationship coach with 22 years of experience helping people heal, grow, and improve their relationships. I also research Japanese self-care methods to support modern findings on well-being. Today, I'm going to show you how this ancient practice is supported by cutting-edge neuroscience and how anyone struggling with depression can use it to pull themselves out of darkness, one question at a time. Naikan was developed in the 1940s by Isshin Yoshimoto, a Japanese Buddhist businessman who adapted ancient meditative practices into a structured psychological intervention. In post-war Japan, when the country was drowning in collective grief and trauma, Yoshimoto created a method that helped people find meaning and connection even in the darkest circumstances. The word Naikans is written with 2 kanji characters. Nai means inside or inner, and kan means seeing or observation. Together, they form a practice of looking inward with radical honesty and structured attention. Traditional Naikan involves intensive, week-long retreats where participants sit in quiet reflection for 15 hours a day, examining their relationships through 3 specific questions. These questions are asked repeatedly, methodically, for every significant person in your life and for every stage of your development. The 3 Naikan questions are deceptively simple. What have I received from this person? What have I given to this person? What troubles and difficulties have I caused this person? Notice what is missing. There is no question about what others owe you. There is no focus on how you have been wronged. This is not because pain does not matter. It is because the depressed brain is already hyper-focused on it. When someone is depressed, their brain operates in a state called negativity bias on overdrive. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational thinking and perspective, is essentially hijacked by the amygdala, the emotional alarm system. This creates a cognitive loop where people can only see evidence of worthlessness, failures, and isolation. Naikan interrupts this loop by forcing attention onto data the depressed brain is filtering out. The care someone has received, the small acts of service others have performed, the ways a person's existence has been supported, even when they felt completely alone. This is not about making people feel guilty. In Zen Buddhist philosophy, from which Naikan emerged, the goal is muga, the dissolution of the false self constructed by ego and suffering. By examining life through these questions, people begin to see that the story depression tells them, that they are a burden, that they are alone, that they contribute nothing, is fundamentally incomplete. Here is where it gets interesting. Modern neuroscience is now proving exactly why this ancient method works at a biological level. A 2019 study published by researchers at the University of California, Berkeley, led by Dr. Christina Carnes, found that structured gratitude practices like Naikan significantly increase activity in the anterior cingulate cortex and medial prefrontal cortex. These are the exact brain regions responsible for emotional regulation and self-referential processing. In depressed individuals, these regions show reduced connectivity and activity. What the study found was remarkable. Participants who engaged in structured reflection on what they had received from others showed a 43% increase in neural activity in these regions after just 4 weeks of practice. This is comparable to the neurological changes observed with SSRI antidepressants, but achieved through behavioral intervention alone. Another study from 2022, conducted at Kyoto University in Japan under Dr. Takashi Nakao, used fMRI imaging to observe participants during Naikan reflection. The results showed increased dopamine receptor activity in the ventral striatum, the brain's reward center, when participants focused on acts of kindness they had received. Essentially, remembering care activated the same neural pathways as experiencing pleasure or reward. Your brain is not sabotaging you, it is protecting you. Depression creates a survival mechanism where the brain assumes that if someone expects nothing and notices nothing good, they cannot be disappointed or hurt. But this protection comes at the cost of the ability to experience connection, meaning, and hope. Naikan works because it provides the brain with concrete evidence that contradicts the depressive narrative. It is not about convincing someone to feel better. It is about training attention to notice what is actually there. The science also reveals something crucial about guilt. In Western psychology, guilt is often seen as something to eliminate or manage, but in Naikan practice, guilt serves a different function. A 2021 study from Stanford University's Center for Compassion and Altruism Research, led by Dr. Emma Seppala, found that adaptive guilt, the recognition of how our actions impact others, actually increases prosocial behavior and reduces depressive symptoms by 37% over 8 weeks. This is because adaptive guilt reconnects you to your social world. It reminds you that your actions matter, that you have agency, and that you are not invisible. For someone in depression, this realization is life-changing. You are not a passive victim of your circumstances. You are a participant in a web of relationships, and your presence has weight. So how does someone actually apply Naikan when they can barely get out of bed in the morning? The answer is to start small. Forget the traditional week-long intensive retreat. The practice begins with 10 minutes a day, focusing on one person at a time, one stage of life at a time. Week 1. Choose a mother, father, or primary caregiver. Sit quietly with a journal. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Answer the 3 questions for one specific period of life. Let us say ages 5 to 10. What did I receive from this person during that time? Be specific. Did they make meals? Drive to school? Sit with someone when they were sick? Write it all down. Do not filter. Do not judge. Just observe. Week 2. Same person, same time period. What did I give to this person? This is harder when someone is depressed because the brain wants to say that nothing was given. Push through. Did they smile at their caregiver? Did they do homework? Did they exist as someone their parent cared about? Even presence was a gift to someone who loved them. Week 3. Same person, same time period. What troubles and difficulties did I cause this person? This is not about shame. This is about accuracy. Did someone argue? Refuse to eat? Require time and energy when a parent was tired? Acknowledge it without self-punishment. Everyone was a child once. Everyone was learning. Caregivers chose to care anyway. Week 4, move to a different person or a different time period. Repeat the process. A sibling, a teacher, a friend, a partner. Ages 10 to 15, 15 to 20. Keep going. This is where most people fail. They start strong, feel a small shift, and then stop because they think they are cured. Depression does not work that way. The neural pathways that keep someone stuck took years to form. They will not dissolve in a week. The goal is not a breakthrough moment. The goal is building a new structure of attention. One question, one memory, one piece of evidence at a time. Use a physical journal. Do not type. Research from the University of Tokyo found that handwriting activates the hippocampus and Broca's area, regions associated with memory encoding and language processing, 33% more effectively than typing. The brain needs to encode these memories deeply, and handwriting facilitates that process. Set a specific time, not when I feel like it, not before bed if I remember. Choose a time and protect it the way someone would protect a doctor's appointment. The mind categorizes commitments into reversible and irreversible. Naikan must be irreversible. Expect resistance. The depressed brain will say, "This is pointless." It will say, "Time is being wasted." It will remind someone of every reason they should feel terrible. This is not evidence that Naikan is not working. This is evidence that it is threatening the neural patterns that depression depends on. When emotional resistance appears, acknowledge it and continue anyway. Feelings do not need to cooperate for the practice to work. In fact, Naikan is most powerful when practiced during emotional numbness or resistance. People do not wait to feel better before they begin. They begin so that they can feel better. If tears come during the practice, let them happen. Tears are not a sign of failure. They are a sign that someone is accessing memories and emotions that depression had sealed off. This is thawing. This is progress. If someone cannot remember anything positive another person did for them, start with the most basic care. Did they feed them, shelter them, keep them alive when they were helpless? These are not small things. They are foundational. The brain has learned to dismiss basic care as what they were supposed to do. But obligation does not negate impact. Someone chose to care, even when it was difficult, even when there was no reciprocation, even when there was every reason to walk away. The deeper transformation happens around week 6 to week 8. Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania, in a 2023 study led by Dr. Martin Seligman, found that participants practicing Naikan-style reflection reported a 61% increase in feelings of interconnectedness and a 52% decrease in depressive symptoms after 8 weeks. But the change is not just statistical. It is philosophical. People begin to realize something that the depressed mind cannot comprehend. They are not the center of the universe, and that is liberating. In Naikan, there is a concept called Okage-sama de, which means I am what I am because of you. It is a phrase used in Japanese culture to express gratitude, but it carries a deeper existential truth. No one exists in isolation. Life is the sum of 10,000 acts of care, most of which go unnoticed because people are too focused on their pain. This is the principle behind another Japanese concept, Kizuna, which refers to the invisible bonds that connect people through shared experiences and mutual support. Depression convinces people that these bonds do not exist. Naikan makes them visible again. Traditional Japanese tea ceremony, which is steeped in Zen philosophy, teaches practitioners to notice every detail. The temperature of the water, the texture of the bowl, the sound of the whisk. This practice of radical attention is the same skill Naikan develops. People train their minds to notice what is there, not what is missing. The practice is not about learning to be grateful, because gratitude is morally good. It is about learning to notice reality, because reality is where healing lives. Here is what the ancient Japanese understood, that modern culture forgot. No one can think their way out of depression. No one can logic themselves into feeling better. But attention can be trained, and where attention goes, the brain follows. The goal of Naikan is not to make people feel happy. It is to reconnect them to the truth of their interdependence. Happiness is a byproduct. Connection is the medicine. This is not about productivity. This is not about becoming a better person so others will love you. This is about seeing clearly. And when someone sees clearly, the story that depression tells, that they are worthless, that they are alone, that nothing they do matters, loses its power. No one needs to feel motivated to start. No one needs to believe it will work. The only requirement is to sit down, set a timer, and answer the first question. What have I received? One memory, then another, then another. If this resonated with you, I create content to help people heal and build stronger relationships with themselves and others. Subscribing helps me reach more people who need this. Naikan teaches us that healing is not about escaping pain. It is about expanding awareness. Depression narrows your vision. Naikan widens it. One question, one memory, one step back toward life.